In 1997, edutainment game developing company Humongous Entertainment decided to create a new IP and a fourth and final entry into their Junior Adventures brand label of games. That new IP was Spyfox. On September 2nd, 1997, the first game of the series, Spyfox and Dry Cereal, hit store shelves. The game sold over 2 million copies, received 20 awards of excellence, and has since been re-released numerous times on platforms such as the Wii, iOS, and even Steam. It's been over 20 years since the game's been released, and it makes me wonder, does this game still stand up? I mean, it must still stand up considering that they're still selling the game on modern platforms, right? Well, I guess I should probably play the game to find out. The game starts off by giving us some insight into the game's main villain, William the Kid, who's the CEO of NOG, which stands for Nectar of the Goats. Because nobody likes goat milk, he plans to kidnap all the milk cows in the world, flood the capital with cow milk using his Milky weapon of destruction, and then blame all the cows in the world, getting them thrown in jail, making everyone have to drink goat milk. I can't believe he actually thinks that this shit would hold up in court.
Soon the entire world will be without dairy milk.
However, regardless of how ridiculous this is, we should probably, stop him, or something.
Somewhere over the Mediterranean Sea.
We see our hero Spyfox on a plane, on his way to the fictional Greek island Acidophilus for his next mission. After being harassed by a stewardess into having some airplane food, I mean, what's up with that? It turns out that the food tray actually has a screen, which one of his fellow spies named Monkey Penny can use to contact him. This is pretty cool technology for 1997. She informs us that the CEO of the dairy milk company, Amalgamated Moo Juice Incorporated, Mr. Howard Hugh Heifer Udderly III, has gone missing, and that the only picture that we have of him is one showcasing his ass. And obviously, just simply taking a plane that lands on the island makes too much sense for Spyfox. So instead, he jumps out of the plane that he was on.
I wish I hadn't left my parachute in my other tuxedo.
Well, damn, it would have been quite helpful had you not done that. However, don't worry because Spyfox happens to have magic shape-shifting pens, with one of them turning into a fishing rod which Spyfox then uses to attach to a nearby helicopter, and then slowly floats down to safety. I think this scene fairly accurately depicts what kind of game this is gonna be. A fucking stupid one. Once we arrive on the island, we use a fortune cookie's lucky numbers to get the access code for SpyCorps' mobile command center, where we get to group up with the rest of the agents. And by the rest of the agents, I mean just Monkey Penny. Oh, and Professor Quack, but he isn't here yet for no particular reason that was given in the game. Monkey Penny gives us some drachma, which is odd considering that by the point that this game had come out, drachma was virtually worthless since euros were the leading currency, and a laser toothbrush.
This is a toothbrush, and I could certainly do with one after that airplane meal.
Don't put that in your mouth.
Which is one of the many gadgets that we'll get to use throughout the game. We're told to go investigate the NOG feta cheese factory by the docks. One thing that you'll notice quickly is that Spyfox doesn't really have any weaknesses as a character. Throughout nearly the entire game, he's almost always portrayed as this suave badass who always has the same smug grin on his face. However, luckily the game's art style and especially the animation really helped to make this not only tolerable, but pretty cool.
The laser toothbrush makes impenetrable steel doors penetrable. Now that's a big side of beef.
Yep, that is definitely the anus that we're looking for. Pretty much an exact resemblance. We rescue Mr. Howard Hugh Heifer Udderly III and take him back to the command center, where he chronicles the event of his kidnapping and William the Kid's plan.
You saved me!
We have to use one of Professor Quack's gadgets, X-ray gum, to look inside Mr. Howard Hugh Heifer Udderly III, because he's swallowed information that we need to shut down the Milky weapon of destruction. However, he happens to have some pretty weird things inside his body, such as a clock, a paper airplane, a wrench, a pencil, I'm pretty sure that's a Walkman. I think I also saw, a dildo in there. Oh, Jesus. Also, this is Professor Quack. He invents gadgets and explains them with pretty annoying, unskippable dialogue.
I'll explain how it works. You take a stick out, put it up against something beefy, move it around, and then you can see the yucky stuff inside. The best part of all is, when you're done, you can chew the gum. It actually has a very refreshing beefy flavour.
You know, 4 out of 5 dentists prefer X-ray gum for their patients who need X-rays.
Because a short, simple explanation of the item would apparently be too much to ask for. Also, he eats paper? At this point, I should probably also mention the voice acting. Sometimes the voice acting is perfect and makes the game even better. However, at other times, the voice acting is not good.
This isn't going to hurt, is it? Because I get sort of dizzy when I think about pain. In fact, just saying the word pain makes me want to...
Don't bother me right now. I'm busy inventing a new spy gadget that will send secret messages with aromas.
Anyways, now that we're done with that, it's less early in the morning and a lot more of the island is open for business, including the party boat, the SS Deadweight, which is an integral part of the story. This game also has a pretty cool mechanic where once you talk to important or suspicious characters in the game world, you'll jot them down in your notes, which you'll get to use to talk to other characters about that character. This gameplay mechanic is usually just used for getting hints from characters, but there are a couple times in the game where you actually need to use this mechanic to progress in the game. In fact, we use that mechanic right after talking to the doorman of the SS Deadweight, where we go over to the trinket shop and ask the cashier about the weasel. He informs us that you need an official invitation to get onto the ship, and he just so happens to have one of those invitations. We distract him by asking him to get one of the trinkets in the back of the shop for us to buy, but since he's a fucking midget, he can't reach it. Anyways, we use this distraction to use Silly Putty, one of Professor Quack's gadgets, to copy the invitation and get on board the ship. It's on this ship that we meet the game's resident sexualized character, Russian Blue, who is a cat that loves to tango, and some of her cutscenes are unnecessarily steamy.
And that is the tango. I love the tango. Do you know why I love the tango?
That funky beat.
Because it takes 2 to tango.
Interesting. I haven't done the sums on that.
I'm also happy that the developers didn't refrain from putting a DUI joke in a game for 10-year-olds.
Known criminal record. Indecent tangoing. Charges dropped. Dancing with intent to tango. Charges dropped. Drinking and tangoing. Charges dropped.
We're then introduced to a third agent, Walter, a tiny flea, who has to sneak into the handbag of Russian Blue to spy on her. Haha, get it? Tracking bug. He's a tracking bug, but he's also a literal bug meant for tracking. So fucking funny. We tango with her in a pretty cool, well-animated scene and use that as a distraction to slip Walter into her bag. Also, can I take a moment to express how much I love Walter? Even while flying through the air, he just simply doesn't give a shit. It's perfect. We follow Russian Blue and Walter in a comical driving scene, which leads us straight to William the Kid's secret hideout. Also, if you play this game, you might not get to see the car chase scene, since every time you start a new game, it predetermines some different variables for your playthrough. On some playthroughs, some characters will be more important than others, and sometimes characters will be outright missing. It gives the game an interesting replayability that, to my knowledge, is pretty common with a lot of these Humongous Entertainment games. They could have just made a simple shitty game that parents could throw at their kids for about an hour to shut them up, but they didn't. They actually put passion and care into their games. It's kinda cool. William the Kid's secret hideout is pretty much the whole second half of the game. We have to steal and put on a uniform to trick a security robot into letting us into the hideout, where we find out that their entire power supply is based on rows and columns of gerbils running on wheels. That's weird, considering that these are like pet gerbils in a world of anthropomorphic animals. Are these gerbils being kept as slaves? This is weird.
What? The power went out! Those greedy gerbils and their cowards drive me nuts!
Anyways, we use a diode to disarm the Milky weapon of destruction, save the world, and then give chase to William the Kid to take him down. And he, for some reason, has a seat eject button, way far away from where his actual seat is. That was just stupid design, and he really only has himself to blame for that blunder. We eject him from his blimp and somehow manage to perfectly line him up not only over a jail, but also directly over an empty jail cell. Also, I'm calling bullshit, that fall should have killed him. Once the ordeal is over and done with, the Prime Minister gives Spyfox an M&M cookie as a reward for all that trouble, and then the game comes to an end. Spyfox in Dry Cereal is a genuinely good game that I would honestly suggest if you like playing good old edutainment games. A lot of people seem to consider this IP to be the weakest of HE's main 4 series, but personally it's my favorite. Maybe it's because I'm furry trash, or maybe because it's grounded in some form of reality and doesn't go too far off the rails like most of HE's games usually do. Maybe it's because of the chill, yet silly and twisted atmosphere of the game. I don't know, but I like it. It's also such a shame that this was probably one of HE's most neglected IPs, as it only got 3 games, including 2 spin-off games. Whereas Putt-Putt had a fucking legacy of games. It was insane. Regardless, this game is still good, and I suggest you get it.